Gareth Bale has won numerous titles with Real Madrid, scoring very important goals on the way to those title triumphs, and yet, Zinedine Zidane on July 20th, 2019 said in response to his absence from a friendly against Bayern that, quote, "We hope he leaves soon, it would be best for everyone," end quote. So how did it get to this point, despite what Bale had done for the club? Hey there, my name's Adrian and welcome to Rabona TV. Today, we'll be looking at Bale's time with Madrid, how his relationship with the club and mainly the manager has soured, and why we've arrived at this point. Real doing the most to get Bale out, or perhaps not? We'll get to that. It's a slow summer, but a big thanks to our sponsor OneFootball for watching out for me during the slow season. OneFootball's app brings you all the latest breaking news. They have a transfer rumor rater, customizable news feeds, live scores, and so much more. So use the link in the description for a free download on iOS or Android. Twitter for Android. That's me, baby. Shout out to all my brothers out there on Twitter for Android. All right, let's get to Bale. During the 2012-2013 season, Gareth Bale had the luxury of choosing amongst some of the top clubs as far as where he would want to end up after Tottenham. With Spurs, he had established himself as a mercurial talent. His pace was blinding, his instincts in the box were getting better all the time, and he could strike from distance to boot. But despite the interests of many, Real Madrid had made their intentions known to Bale, and with the ambitions that Bale himself had, it was a match made in heaven. After smashing the world record transfer fee with a €100.8 million price tag, Bale had arrived to play alongside Cristiano Ronaldo and Karim Benzema, forming the lethal BBC combination that found so much success at Real Madrid. His numbers were great during the 13-14 season, scoring 15 and providing 12 assists in La Liga from 27 appearances, and scoring 6 and providing 4 assists in the Champions League. Plus, not only did he score that goal against Barcelona to win Real Madrid the Copa del Rey, but also, in his first season with the club, he scored what would be the winner in the 2014 Champions League final, the first of 4 European titles that he's won while at Real Madrid. In fact, Bale has scored 2 match winners in the Champions League finals for Real Madrid, with his winner against Liverpool in the 2018 final being one of the most iconic Champions League goals of all time, given the stage it was scored on. And speaking of goals in European finals, as far as Real Madrid legends go, only Di Stefano, Puskas, and Ronaldo have scored more. Without mentioning every goal and assist Bale has ever provided for Real Madrid, taking a quick look back at his stats and trophies alone would provide enough to make you think that he would be considered one of Madrid's club legends. I mean, the numbers are impressive. 231 matches, 102 goals scored, 65 assists, and 14 trophies won in just 6 seasons with the club. But for some Madrid fans, there's an asterisk or 2 next to all of those goals, assists, and trophies. The first of which being the sheer amount of time Bale has spent with the medical team at Real Madrid. As of now, he has had 17 different injury stints, which has forced him to miss 72 matches due to injury since he joined the club in 2013. One of the main injuries that has plagued Bale has been, well, first of all, his ankles, the common problem, but perhaps even more so, his soleus muscle in his calf, which has often been the reason why Bale has missed so many of the 72 matches due to injury. But now comes the synthesizing of a few different things that have allegedly led to Bale distancing himself from the club, his teammates, and of course the fans, or at least how it's perceived to be. Golf. And I know it sounds funny, but as you probably know by now, Bale is an avid golfer. In fact, it's believed that he has a replica of one of his favorite golf holes from the Players Club at Sawgrass, which is a fancy golf course in Florida, I think. I know next to nothing about golf, but yeah, this is apparently from his backyard. His love for golf is obvious. All you need to do is follow him on social media and you'll see the many posts dedicated to the sport, of which he's an ambassador for a golf company, or simply just Google Gareth Bale golf and you'll get tons of stories and pictures of the man golfing. But what you may also find is certain news reports blaming Bale's love for golf as a contributing factor to his ongoing and various injury issues at Real Madrid. We already spoke of his calf problems, but apparently he's also had numerous occasions where a niggling back injury has kept him out of the squad. According to one report in particular from El Confidencial, they wrote that, quote, "All these injuries add to the back problems that he suffers from and cause him discomfort. An evil that of the back that grows when playing golf, one of his passions to which he devotes all the time he can when he does not play football." End quote. I'm not a doctor, and I can't say if there's any truth to that at all, but it's something that some Real fans have bought into and add to their narrative that Bale's priorities aren't in the right order. What added to this even more so was Thibaut Courtois' comments regarding Bale back in February of 2019. Oh, it's always nice to hear from Courtois. I feel like whether he means to or not, this guy always provides a funny soundbite or quote whenever he opens his mouth. So, while speaking to Belgian news outlet HLN, he was asked about certain players and how they are perceived at the club or if they have a nickname. When asked about Sergio Ramos, Courtois said, a leader. Marcelo, he's known as Samba. Modric, he called him a genius. But when asked about Bale, well, take it away, Thibaut. Quote, the golfer. It is very hard to describe Gareth in one word. I would say he has so much talent, but that it is such a shame that so often that talent is blocked from shining. I live like somebody who was born and bred in Madrid. I eat late. I go to bed late. It is their way of life. The other night we had a dinner with the entire squad, but Bale and Toni Kroos did not turn up. They reckoned the dinner was too late at night. We had arranged to be in the restaurant at 9:30 p.m. and we started our meal around 10:15 p.m. and by midnight we were having coffee. We go to bed at around 1 a.m. We have to train every morning at 11 a.m. I think that is a perfect time. But Bale had told us, I'm not coming to join you guys, I go to bed at 11. In fact, the story lines up as Sergio Ramos posted a photo from that dinner that Thibaut Courtois had mentioned on his Instagram, and neither Kroos nor Bale are pictured. So, right or wrong, this instance painted a picture of a guy who couldn't be bothered to hang out with his teammates, deepening the narrative that some believe in that he is uninterested in Real Madrid and becoming part of the culture that surrounds it. I mean, to be fair, he could also just be a complete introvert that likes to stick to himself, and that's okay. Just as it's okay to have a passion for golf, so long as it doesn't affect his professional duties with Real Madrid. Now, if he is actually getting injuries from golf and that's affecting his Real Madrid career, then that's a problem, but we don't know for sure. Of course, the very same week that Courtois gave that interview to HLN, Marcelo spoke earlier in the week about how Bale apparently doesn't speak Spanish. There's some that contest this notion, and Bale has given a full 5 or so minute interview in Spanish before to the Real Madrid news team.
Me gusta marcar en las finales porque es la mejor sensación en el mundo.
But just 1 month after Marcelo and Courtois' remarks, Real Madrid released a branded video with their sponsor Fly Emirates and, well...
Cartoons or documentaries?
Cartoons, of course, cartoons.
Gas, ¿cómo sueles pasar la Navidad?
Con familia.
Muy bien. English? ¿Cuál 3 cosas llevas contigo en tu equipaje?
I don't have a clue what you said.
This is by no means scientific, but it seems like his understanding of Spanish is limited. He probably understands better than he speaks and is too shy to speak Spanish around all of the native speakers. So if it's true that his lack of Spanish comprehension is as low as we are to believe, then that could of course affect things in the locker room, not only amongst his teammates, but with the coach as well. Now, Bale saw his best years at Real Madrid playing in any sort of variation of a 4-3-3/4-2-3-1, but undoubtedly was at his best alongside Benzema and Ronaldo in an attacking trio. With Zidane becoming the manager in early 2016, he continued to play a 4-3-3 with BBC as the attacking trio, but as time went on and Bale picked up more and more injuries, he had to adapt and change the shape and approach slightly for Real Madrid. Some credit Real Madrid's match against Barcelona on April 23rd, 2017 as one of the most damning days for Bale. After being out for most of 2017 at that point, Bale returned against Barcelona, but before the first half had even concluded, he went off injured once again with a calf injury. With the Champions League final being held in his hometown of Cardiff that year, he had a race to be fit for the final, which he was, but he didn't get the start that he wanted so badly. Zidane had found a system that worked without Bale. With Ronaldo losing a step of his acceleration but still dominant, he would often play more centrally alongside Benzema, and Real Madrid would get their width from their fullbacks, Carvajal and Marcelo, making overlapping runs. Isco would roam inside or on the wing, meaning there was no room in Zidane's new system for Bale, a system that won them La Liga in 2017, as well as, of course, their second Champions League title in a row. The following season, though Real Madrid struggled domestically, they retained their Champions League title, while there were very few appearances for Bale once again. Just 26 appearances in La Liga and 7 in the Champions League, partially down to injury, partially down to the aforementioned system that Zidane was using to great effect in the Champions League at least. As I said earlier, Bale of course helped win Real Madrid that Champions League title in 2018 despite being visibly unhappy with his role at the club. He scored the spectacular bicycle kick to win the match against Liverpool and added a third thanks to a mishap from Loris Karius. Would Real have won that title if it wasn't for Bale? I don't know. However, following this, Bale shed doubt on his Real Madrid career, saying, quote, "I need to be playing week in, week out, and that hasn't happened this season for one reason or another. I have to sit down in the summer and discuss my future with my agent and take it from there." But with Zidane leaving and Lopetegui coming in, it wasn't exactly a banner year for Real Madrid, and though he was afforded opportunities under Lopetegui and Solari, once Zidane returned to the helm, well, things went downhill once again for Bale, and his relationship with the manager suffered even more. In fact, Bale didn't feature for a single minute in the last 3 matches of the season, despite being fit, and didn't join his teammates for the customary lap of honor during their final home match in front of their fans, or in this case, a lap of gratitude, I guess, to the ones that showed up, as attendances had suffered as Real Madrid's season tanked. And that set the tone really for a war of words through the press between Bale's agent, John Barnett, and Zizou over the summer of 2019, culminating with Real Madrid's friendly match against Bayern Munich. As Zidane tells it, Bale was left out of the squad by his own request as the club was working on a deal to sell him. This is what Zidane had to say. Quote, "Bale was left out because the club are trying to sell him. If he can go tomorrow, it would be better. It's nothing personal, I don't have anything against Bale, but I have to make decisions. There comes a time when it's time to change and it's good for everyone to go their separate ways. Leaving is the decision of the coach and also the player who knows the situation." The plot twisted even further when he came on for the second half of Real Madrid's match against Arsenal. And of course, because football is ultimately just a massive drama production, Bale scored a goal. So, days later, he featured again in Real Madrid's lopsided loss against Atletico, coming on in the 62nd minute when the score was just 6-1, and the rumors of his move to China being finalized rang throughout the internet. But on Sunday, July 28th, the BBC's David Ornstein, who is usually a very reliable source, a tier 1 source, said that Real Madrid blocked the move, and it's likely Bale will be staying with Real Madrid this season. So with all that's been said, like, quote, "It would be better for everyone to go their separate ways," end quote, and all of the events that have transpired, how do you feel about this? Do you feel like it was out of line for Zidane to say these things, as Bale's agent claims it was? Me personally, I think that Zidane could have left a few things unsaid, namely when he said, if he could go tomorrow, it would be better. And looking beyond just the last season, Bale's contribution to Real Madrid's success cannot be understated. Has he been injured a lot? Yes, absolutely he has. But I don't buy into those who believe he didn't want to return from his injuries. I mean, he himself said after the 2018 Champions League final that he wanted to be playing week in, week out. So I don't question his commitment to wanting to play and help the team. You can't blame him for wanting to stay in Madrid where his home is all set up. You can't blame him for being offered a massive contract in 2016. And while it's frustrating that he's injured a lot, he isn't the first injury-prone player to play football, and he certainly doesn't lack discipline or a commitment to training. In my personal opinion, and I of course want to hear yours as well, I feel as though his contributions to the team are underappreciated a little bit. But conversely, I can understand why his teammates feel distance from him. But if I'm a fan and someone on my team is involved in 167 goals in 231 matches and has scored the title-winning goal in 3 finals, would I care if they are going for dinners with their teammates or not? No, not really. It sucks that he isn't as Spanish as people have wanted him to be, but it also sucks how he's been treated by certain fans, and at times by Zidane. Anyways, that will be that for this video. This whole Bale situation is really interesting to me on multiple levels, so I figured why not do a video on it, especially if he's going to end up staying this season. If you enjoyed it, a like is always appreciated. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Adrian, by the way, and I love you. Bye!